the Knoxville Visitor Center, this side of the live WDVX Blue Plate Special, Monday through Thursday and on Saturday at noon. Additional support that comes from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and the Tennessee Arts Commission. You can watch today's performance on our Facebook Live. Right now, it's time. Please make welcome your host for the WDVX Blue Plate Special, Red Hickey.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to the Blue Plate Special. It is real live music right here in beautiful downtown Knoxville. And we're here inside of Visit Knoxville, and you can come join us. Feel free to come and see the live performance. If you can't be here with us, you know you can skip on over to the WDVX Facebook page and watch it stream live there today. Today's guest, and actually, if you can, you probably should be watching it from that WDVX Facebook page to make today's performance complete, because it's visual as well. They're based out of Yorkshire, England, y'all. Give a great big welcome to Maire Chathasaigh and Chris Newman to the Blue Plate Special.
Hello, everybody. It's lovely to be here at playing for WDVX Blue Plate Special today. We were here some years ago as well, and it's really nice to be back. I'm Maire Chathasaigh, and I'm from County Cork in Ireland. And this is Chris Newman, who's from England. And we're just starting our US tour today here. We just flew over, did our transatlantic flight a few days ago. So we're going to be going all over the country. And so we're starting here, and we're playing tomorrow night at Pellissippi College, so here in Knoxville. So it's lovely to be in Knoxville. So thank you all for coming along this afternoon. We're going to start off by playing two traditional Irish jigs. And the first one has a fantastic title in the Irish language. In Gaelic, it's called Fan Mara Wiltu a Chleire, which means stay where you are, you rogue, which I think is a great title. And the second one is called, what is it? Petticoat Loose. Petticoat Loose. So I hope you like them.
It's Maire ni Chathasaigh and Chris Newman with us here today on the Blue Plate Special. My audience here can see their name on the screen there and kind of understand my hillbilly phonetics going on here, because it's a little different. But if you're out there in the internet land, it's a good thing, because you don't have to spell it all out to find them on the internet. They've made it a little simpler, and it's Maire and Chris all spelt out. Is that correct? Okay. So, and also I might mention it's spelled Maire. Not exactly the way we would pronounce it here or spell it in the States. So, with all that said, there's some history here with these folks. Apparently, way back, Chris, you said you came to the camper? What did you call it? Our camper, when the radio station.
Absolutely. I've been in this part of the world many, many times since 2003 at Steve Kaufman's acoustic camp over in Maryville, not too just down the road from here. And I've been there, I think, oh, crikey, I'm not even sure now, but 8 or 9 times. I've got 8 or 9 notches on my guitar, something like that. And yeah, so I know the area really pretty well. So we've been coming here, off and on for quite a while. And playing at the Palace Theatre as well, for Steve's theatre. Yeah, so it's just really lovely to be here. What's a real thrill for us, actually, is I just checked on my phone just now, and in the town where we live in Yorkshire, the temperature there right now is 34 degrees. And I'm just looking outside here and thinking it's about, I don't know, whatever it is, 68 or 60. And I can't wait, actually, when we finish here this afternoon, I'm going to email all my friends at home and just make them feel really ill. That's the idea. So.
Just find you a sunny spot and hold up in it there. So, Maire, you've been here a few years back.
Yeah, we've been here a few times before. We played in a very nice church in the middle of Knoxville some years ago, and we played on Blue Plate Special then as well. And we played in Pellissippi College. And we're playing Pellissippi College again tomorrow night, so it'll be really fun to do that tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. And many years ago, one of the times we were playing in the Palace Theatre, we went in to do an interview for WDVX when it was in a caravan. And we've never forgotten it. It was amazing. So it's amazing how it's all grown in the meantime. So it's wonderful. It's lovely to be here.
It has. So I was noticing, because the radio and the internet folks that are listening can't really see that. Obviously, she's playing a harp, but I've never really noticed harpist flipping those levers on the side of the harp. Are you retuning? I'm changing the pitch by semitone. So the harp is diatonic. It's like the white notes of a piano. And if you want chromatic notes, you've got to make them using the levers. If you're playing a big pedal harp, like an orchestral harp, you do it with your feet. But this is a kind of like a manual version. So this is an Irish harp, an Irish style harp. And the harp in Ireland is a very ancient instrument. It's been characteristic of Ireland for well over 1,000 years. So it's changed its shape and the way it's made over the years, but it still has a kind of curve at the front, which makes it distinctively Irish. So, yeah. It's beautiful.
So, and then when I want to change, many years ago, of course, in ancient Ireland, they didn't play chromatic music like we do today. So they didn't have those levers. So they're quite a modern thing, but they really work. But you've got to have. People always wonder why I always want lots of light. And if I don't have any light, I'm absolutely stuck. I think, where is that lever?
And how many strings are on there?
There are 36 on this one. Harps vary enough. You can put any number of strings you want on them, really. They vary from really small to really big. So,
and she knows which string to go to flip that lever, y'all. You watch her do
that. If I miss it, it sounds like really, really, really strange. So I hope I don't miss one today.
Well, I wanted to ask Chris a little bit about his latest project that is out there, because I had said before the show, somebody said, "Oh, we're going to have Celtic music here today," and not anything. You didn't sound check with any Celtic music. I was like, well, it's not exactly Celtic, because Chris's new album is Bach.
It is, yes. It's nothing. It's really nothing to do with Celtic music at all. It was actually a result of the lockdown, actually, because when the lockdown happened, we were 4 weeks into a 6-week tour in America, which of course everything just got shut down.
Right.
We went home early, and of course we just watched our diaries on the screen just evaporated, along with everybody else's, of course, and. So it was a question of just thinking, well, what are you going to do for the next year or 18 months? Nobody really knew how long it was going to take. So I just decided it would just be a bit of fun to try and play some of this music on this style of guitar. A lot of classical guitar players play the J.S. Bach's repertoire because they all play nylon string guitars and they play with thumb and 3 fingers, and so they put in extra bass notes and counterpoint and stuff. So what I did, I decided to play them on the flat pick guitar with just the regular flat pick, which is actually made here in Knoxville. This is a quick plug for Blue Chip. But it just basically on a steel strung flat top guitar with a plectrum. So it was just a completely different thing to do, actually. And it was just, yeah, it was good fun. It was a great exercise.
Well, it is available here today after the show. You all can feel free to stop by the merch table and shake and howdy with them and just thank them for being here with us. Again, remember, they will be performing tomorrow night at Pellissippi Community College. That's at 7 o'clock. We're just getting a little appetizer of the show here, but you'll get the full performance tomorrow evening at Pellissippi. Okay. For now, I'm going to back on out of the way. This is Maire, Chathasaigh, and Chris Newman on the WDVX Blue Plate Special. I promise I practice all morning long, but it just won't come out today.
Excellent. Okay, here we go.
Well, there were 2 tunes composed by a man called James Scott Skinner, who was a very well-known fiddle player and composer of traditional fiddle tunes from Banchory in Scotland at the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century. So his tunes are really well-known. So the first one was called the Spain Spate, and the second one was called the Hurricane. So we're going to continue now by playing a really beautiful 17th century Irish harp tune. And so, as I mentioned earlier, to read. The Irish harp has a very, very ancient pedigree in Ireland. Was the most important instrument in Ireland for over 1,000 years, so it's got a massive repertoire and history. So I'm going to play you a piece of music from this repertoire, and it was composed by a man called Thurlough O'Carolan, who was born in 1670 and died in 1738, and he composed over 200 tunes in honour of various of his friends and patrons, a lot which is still extremely popular to this day. They've got beautiful tunes, which is why people like them so much. They're played all over the world. Everybody who's involved in playing any kind of Irish or Celtic music knows some tunes composed by Carolan. And this, in my opinion, is one of the most beautiful ones that he ever composed. He composed it in honour of a lady called Eleanor Plunkett, who lived in County Meath, which is in the eastern part of Ireland, in the 17th century. It was said of her that she was the last of her family, and that the reason for this was that in the previous generation, in 1641, 30 of her family are said to have been locked up in their own castle, Robertstown Castle, and murdered most gruesomely. And give you all the details if you like. No, maybe not. Might put you off your lunch. Anyway, it's a really, really beautiful tune. And as I said, this is a 17th century Irish harp tune, but you may notice that there's a distinctly 21st century guitar solo in the middle. So this is our version of Eleanor Plunkett. Thank you. We're now going to play another an extremely popular piece composed by Thurlock O'Carolan, and lots of people play it all over the world. And it's supposedly the first tune that Carolan composed. Carolan was born in the east part of Ireland, County Meath, and when he was a teenager, he moved with his family to the west of Ireland, to County Roscommon, and where his father got a job with a woman called Mrs. McDermott Rowe. And she spotted that he was very, very talented. He unfortunately contracted smallpox and was blinded as a result, something that happened quite commonly. And one of the best paid occupation open to blind people at that time was musician, and particularly the harp, because the best paid musicians in Ireland were the harpers. You know, that's the correct way of things, I think. Anyway, basically, she paid for harp lessons, bought him a harp, got him started on his career as a harper. When he was ready to start his career, she bought him a harp, bought him a horse, hired a servant for him, and gave him a list of introductions. So off he went, and his first patron that he called to was a man called Reynolds, who lived in County Leitrim, County Leitrim. And very close to there were two hills. And there's a mythological tale associated with those hills. And that's supposed to be inhabited by the fairies. And one is called the Little Fairy Hill, and the other is called the Big Fairy Hill. And the two lots of fairies that were on those hills were supposed to be locked in mortal combat all the time. They were deadly enemies. So they were always fighting with each other. So anyway, this tune is named after those two hills and the two fairy hosts. So it's called Shebeg and Shemore, or Sheviog and Shevor in the Irish language. So it's a lovely little tune, so hope you enjoy it. Shebeg, Shemore.
It's Maire, Chathasaigh, and Chris Newman with us here today on the Blue Plate Special. We're going to get a few more tunes from them here. Just don't worry about that, but support for the Blue Plate Special comes from listeners just like yourselves, from the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, the Tennessee Arts Commission, Barley's in Knoxville's Old City, and Visit Knoxville. If you're tuning in, MaireandChris.com is the website, MAIRE and Chris.com for the folks looking out there. So, Maire, I noticed on your website that I think you've got a new project coming out later.
In the year, yes.
Later this year?
In the year, yeah. My first solo album came out in 1980. My first album came out in 1985, and it was the first sort of Irish traditional harp album to concentrate on doing traditional Irish dance music, because it hadn't been done before. So that's going to be, we're going to reissue that. It was brought out on a Scottish album called Temple Records, and it was run by a man called Robin Morton, who died last year. And he and his wife decided they were going to give all the rights to the albums back to the artists, which is a remarkably amazing thing to do. So that's happened very recently. So we're bringing it out on our own label in a few months, and then we're bringing out another solo album for me later on in the year. So yeah,
a lot going on.
Yeah.
Well, on top of 2 new projects coming out, they are on tour right now. This is the very first day of the tour. Tomorrow they'll be at Pellissippi Community State College at 7 p.m. From here, they're headed to Arkansas, Memphis, Charlottesville, Virginia, Connecticut, New York, Rhode Island, Pennsylvania. April and May, they're going to be in the UK and in Ireland and in UK and in Ireland. And then in June, they'll be back in the States once again, I believe.
That's correct.
Coming back for a few shows there.
Yeah.
So you can, follow them on the website there to keep up with that tour schedule. And feel free to stop by the merch table and shake and howdy with them after the show. But for now, I'm going to back out of the way, y'all. We're going to get a few more tunes right here from Maire and Chris on the Blue Plate Special.
Thank you. Well, as we were talking about a little while earlier on about the Bach project, I'm going to play a couple of pieces by JSB, a well-known German folkie, who he wrote lots of wonderful stuff, of course. So what I'm going to play is the Currente and the Jig from one of his cello suites. This isn't, of course, a cello, and it's an alto saxophone, of course. But it's interesting because the Currente is just a beautiful tune. The Jig is actually not too dissimilar from the Irish Jig that we played earlier on. It's in 6/8 time, and it's a very jaunty little piece. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed these. This is the Currente and the Jig from Bach's Cello Suite number 6, BWV something or other. I can't remember, but anyway.
Well, now we're going to play a really beautiful 18th century Irish tune. And this was collected by a very well-known collector of Irish music called Edward Bunting at the end of the 18th century. And he published 3 volumes of the music that he collected called The Ancient Music of Ireland between 1796 and 1840. But a lot of the music that he collected was never published. And so to find it, you've got to go to where the manuscripts are kept, which is in Queen's University in Belfast. So the tune we're about to play now, I found in that collection, in the manuscript collection. And it's a really beautiful tune. So I recorded it with my sisters on a CD we made a few years ago called Sibling Revelry. I didn't think of that, my sisters thought of that. And they play the fiddle and they sing, so it's a different sort of thing. But anyway, so this particular tune is that I found in the manuscript collection. We recorded it on our CD, Sibling Revelry. And it is a really beautiful tune. It's named after a beautiful part of the west of Ireland called Connemara. Has anybody ever been there? Few people? Gosh. Well, if you haven't been, put it on your list. Mind you, it's not as beautiful as West Cork, where I'm from, but you know, it's pretty good. So anyway, so it always gives me a thrill to play a tune like this, which has been completely forgotten about for over 200 years, and to bring it to people's attention again. So hope you enjoy it. This is Connemara.
This is Maire, Miss Chathasaigh, and Chris Newman with us here today on the Blue Plate Special. We're going to get one more tune from them here today. But of course, we're going to be right back here again tomorrow to do it all over again. Taylor Shuck will be here along with Colin Cutler. And you can find out more by visiting our website there at WDVX.com. Of course, we're a listener-supported radio station. There's always a donation box in the back of the room. A few bucks in the box keeps the good music going. Again, you can see Maire and Chris at Pellissippi College tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. That'll be a full performance. And I do want to say, first of all, thank you for sharing that lovely tune, finding it and sharing it with us, because it is a beautiful tune. And you all will get more of that goodness tomorrow evening. Again, they've got a quick tour here of the States and then headed back over to Europe, to the UK and Ireland, and they're zigzagging back from this spring around there, and then again in June they'll be back here in the States. And you can find that by visiting the website maireandchris.com, Maire and Chris.com. Thanks for shortening that out for us, to find. Thank you for being here today.
It's been a real pleasure. Thank you so much, Red, for having
Will you
us.
all close us out with the last one?
Sorry?
Will you all close us out with the last tune here today?
Absolutely, yes. We're going to finish by playing a tune composed by a friend of ours, and it's called Andy Hornby, and it's a tune which he calls Pheasant Feathers. And it's in a complex time signature, hops around all over the place and keeps us on our toes. And it's really good fun to play. And it's on the most recent regular CD we've made, which is called Firewire. And we have also done a couple of things from the CD with my sisters called Sibling Revelry. Thing from Chris's new CD devoted to the music of Bach, which he calls Breaking Bach. And a couple of things from the Carolyn albums. Anyway, you may be astonished to discover that we've got copies of these CDs with us, which are over there on the table. And we'd be delighted to chat to you. And anyway, thank you all so much for listening to us, and thanks to everybody out there as well listening. And it's been a real treat to be on Blue Plate Special today. So this is Pheasant Feathers. Thank you.
Thank you all, and join us again next time for more real live music on the Blue